So vegan athletes need to take into consideration two things.
Because I knew there was something that I was missing, but I couldn't figure it out.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Rose. I am your go-to vegan fitness coach, wanting to help you achieve the plant-based body of your dreams. I want you to ditch the diet. I want you to eat date balls, and if you don't know what a date ball is, check the link below and get our free recipe ebook. I am here with a very special guest. No, it is not Plant Life Cho's mom. We locked her in a closet for this episode, you guys. I have a client with me who is going to be sharing her testimonial a little bit and just things that we both learned as new vegans because we shared the same exact struggles. We're both only children and we both have a lot of chronic diseases that run in our family. So we made the transition to whole food plant-based years ago with our parents. Our parents won a reverse disease. They really did not care about gaining muscle and shredding fat. Yes, they lost weight, but they didn't want to look jacked. They didn't really want to look toned, and they're a lot older than us. So we were eating the same things that they were eating, which is perfectly healthy, abundant in all the good stuff, but it wasn't tailored to the results that we wanted right now in our lives. So Jacey and I are very into fitness. She's actually a college athlete. I am not that talented, but I still like to lift, and I want that shredded physique, and so did Jacey. We were both eating whole food, plant-based, oil-free, very healthy things. We barely ate anything processed. We didn't know what we needed to do to see our results pay off that we were doing in the gym. We thought that just by eating this way and by listening to what those plant-based doctors were saying, that this way of eating is just a magic fix for everything. We didn't really need to do anything different because there are a lot of vegan athletes and they look amazing. So, okay, well, maybe I just can never look like that because it's not in my genetics. When I saw the Game Changers movie, for example, I really thought that those people, those vegan bodybuilders out there, that they were just eating beans and hemp seeds and quinoa for their protein too. I didn't realize that as a vegan athlete, you have to take some steps to modify your diet so you can put on as much muscle as possible and shred fat, toned, and not lose any muscle as well. So vegan athletes need to take into consideration two things. They need to eat a little bit more protein than you would need to eat if you're eating an omnivorous diet. As animal sources of protein are more digestible than plant sources, so your body might not be able to absorb all of the nutrients from the plant sources too, if that makes sense. So protein sources vary in their levels of amino acids, and omnivorous sources of protein have really high levels of all the amino acids in one single protein source. It's easier to eat omnivorously because lean sources of meat are pure protein and they don't have any other macronutrients in them. Vegan protein sources can have protein and also have carbs and fat. So you can't just blindly add in hemp seeds, you can't just blindly add in quinoa because you might be going over the caloric needs of your body, and once you go over those caloric needs, if you're trying to lose fat, it's just not gonna happen. By tweaking our diets a little bit, we're still whole food plant-based at the center. We were able to see amazing results. I saw amazing results. Jacey's seeing amazing results in my program, and we want to share them with you. This is just a disclaimer that we are in no way refuting or dissing or disproving all of the research that has been done by the amazing plant-based doctors out there. We're just saying what we found to work best for us, and maybe this can work best for you too. And I am here with Jacey, who is in the last week of my program. We both have very similar stories with how we both went vegan and how we went through basically a journey trying to figure out the best way to still eat whole food plant-based, but how to really optimize it for what we wanted to accomplish performance-wise and body composition-wise. So JC, I will open it up to you first. How did you find whole food plant-based diet and why did you make the switch? And just tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm lucky. My whole family's on this journey with me. And so we made this switch about 3 years ago this January to go whole food plant-based. And before doing that, I, saw people going vegan and little diet, diets here and there. And so I wanted to cut out dairy and red meat for a week. And so I was trying that. And I think my mom wanted to really educate herself and see what diet is the best out there. And so that weekend we went home, cleaned out our closets and pantries and everything, fridges, and made the whole switch as a family, which was really nice to do that. And I have a lot of like bad, health genes in my family with cholesterol and blood sugar levels. And so my family wanted to do it more for a lot of health reasons and to lose weight. And we were pretty successful with that. So
Yeah, you guys, your transformation pictures look awesome. And JC, you're very unique because you're an athlete, you're a college athlete right now. What kind of foods were you eating when you first went whole food plant-based to kind of fuel yourself for your athletic performance?
But yeah, a little bit about that was we made a switch when I was still a junior in high school, and I was struggling with inflammation almost every single basketball season, and I could barely get through an entire season each year without feeling some sort of pain somewhere. And once we made the switch, like it was huge. Like the next season, I felt so much lighter on the court. I did have a lot of energy. I know a lot of people say, switching to a vegan plant-based diet, you don't have as much energy. You have a ton of energy, if not more. And I feel a lot lighter. I don't have as much inflammation. And when I first made the switch, like you were mentioning, I kind of just followed what my parents were doing. And, a lot of our, the diet is carb heavy, and a lot of, people our parents' age go into doing this diet for longevity and wanting to live longer. And for me, I still had a lot of like athletic goals of mine, and getting into lifting and strength training. I wanted to see more results and stuff, and so that's why I came to Rose, because I knew there was something that I was missing, but I couldn't figure it out. So I think my diet was a lot of carb sources and fats, and I don't think I was truly aware of like the main protein sources on this diet because my parents weren't really worried about that themselves.
And someone asked you how you got your protein as a vegan athlete, what would you say?
I am so embarrassed. I literally went up to a trainer at a gym and he asked me, he said, you need a lot of protein in your diet if you want to reach these goals. And he's like, what protein sources are you doing? And I told him the first thing I said, avocado. I'm having avocado toast for lunch, and I'm having oats, which, is a little bit, but not a main source of protein. And so I was having my oats in the morning, and I'd have my avocado toast for lunch. And a lot of our dinners were just like a carb and veggie source. And we rarely use tofu. I don't think my parents even really like tofu. So or just any kind of like plant-based protein source. So a lot of our meals were just based on veggies and a carb source or a fat source. And so I thought, broccoli, spinach, avocado, the occasional beans. I remember when I first asked Rose saying, what can I do to up my protein? And the first thing you told me was, you had beans almost every meal. And I was like, I cannot do that. So let me at least try to do it like maybe once a day, maybe every other day. I don't know. But yeah, I was so unaware.
I was hearing all these amazing things about this diet, and I kind of thought, it was a magic fix. Plants have all the protein that you need. As long as you're eating enough calories, you're getting enough protein. There was no link to the muscle building science and, the fat loss science.
Our diet is known as within the diet, you don't have any restrictions. You can eat as much as you want. And my mom always says, I can have 5 potatoes if I want to. And that's totally great for, for them. But I think for like my goals and, my lifting and physique goals and athletic goals in general, like that really was it. I've been starting to realize now that may be different for me. We were always told that this was enough, and that this is with doing this, like you're doing fine. Like you don't have to add anything else. So
yeah, which is fine for the average person, but we had some goals. Like, what really inspired you to just take a look at what you were eating and do something different?
I was lifting almost 6 days a week, and I knew I was, like, killing it in the gym, and I just knew that I thought I would see more progress along the way. I knew that there was something I was missing. I was like, "I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm eating super healthy." Like, I thought maybe, I'm eating super healthy, and that was always consistent with what I've been eating in a day, and I was starting to really, do really well in the gym, and I was like, "Well, maybe it is something that in my diet that I can fix." And I got connected with Rose, and the Plant Life chose us on Instagram, and I was seeing how shredded she is, and I was like, how is she doing that on this diet? Like, not even on this diet because I was unaware, but I was like, I want to look like that. Like, I want to be able to, get shredded, and I know I'm putting in the work and stuff. So I don't know what I need to change, whether that's my lifting routine or my diet. And so I reached out to her, and I said, like, what kind of protein sources can I be adding in? And I tried to make a few tweaks here and there, but like, I really said, you know what, let me really sit down with her and figure out the huge changes I can make. And that was macro tracking. And I think you really don't know what you're putting in your body and what you're eating until you track it. Like, I was really unaware of, like, how much I was eating and not having enough protein sources. And so I think once you track it, it's shocking. It truly is in the beginning. So
Yeah, the fat is always the one thing that
yeah.
surprises everyone.
I know I came to you with excuses saying, "Oh, I don't wanna track. I really don't wanna, like, do all that. I don't wanna have to, I'm already eating super healthy," which is what we've always been told, like, we don't have to do anything else. And I think it was pretty stressful in the beginning, but, you get used to it, and things work differently for everyone. Personally, I'm not a meal prepper. I meal prep some, C10 in the beginning of the week and my protein sources here and there, but, um, fortunately, I have, like, time to make my meals, and so I'm not a meal prepper, but so that's proof that you don't have to meal prep 7 meals, like, for 7 days to just track macros. You really don't. Like, it's different for everyone. And um, yeah, it's a little difficult at first, but you really get used to it about 1 or 2 weeks in, and so I think it's worth it.
Now you can go back to eating intuitively and just know the types of foods that you need to eat to really make your workouts count.
This whole process, whether, like, physique and lifting goals aside and seeing the transformation of my body aside, I'm a lot more educated now when I, go to make meals, and when I'm eating out and stuff like that. I know what's in the foods I'm eating.
But then when you go vegan, quinoa has protein. Quinoa also has a lot more carbs than protein. Hemp seeds or chia seeds, but they have fat. Like, someone told me, like, oh, you don't need protein powder, like, just add more hemp seeds to your smoothie. Like, if you do that without knowing that hemp seeds have fat, you could be totally overshooting your calories. And when you overshoot your calories in any macronutrient, really, you can see weight gain or not
Yeah.
see the progress that you want. It's just figuring out what little things you need to tweak
Yeah.
and add in. And, I think there's just a bad association with high protein in general because it's like once you open your mind to whole food plant based, like you kind of want to resist everything that you used to do when you're eating standard American. You hear protein and then your mind automatically goes to like disease and cancer and stuff like that. But plant protein isn't as bad. The processed foods that we eat now to kind of help us with our goals are not the same as eating like processed meat or
Yeah.
processed chips. Yes, protein powder is technically processed, and maybe the hemp seed itself and not hemp protein has
Mhm.
more nutrients, but you also just need to link back, like we say, to our goals and link back to the fact that when we work out, our body needs a digestible, good protein source, which is helpful with the protein shakes and protein powder. And then adding in seitan, which is technically processed because it's extracted from the wheat germ and it's just that protein wheat gluten. Yes, it's processed, but at the same time, like it's a great source of
Right.
protein. So just, putting in a little bit more research. Not everyone has to do this, but it is important to think about if you're not seeing
Mhm.
what you want to see with how you look. And you've come up with some pretty good macro hacks, especially your
Yeah.
Starbucks ones on TikTok.
Yes. Check out
What are
Jacey
some
and I if you want some macro-friendly Starbucks orders. My family and I like to go there every morning, so I've been trying to figure out little tweaks here and there. But I actually realized the soy milk there is not as healthy as I thought. It has 130 calories, which I'm like no, but I've been doing. I know, and it's not as healthy as the one I've been using. So I'm like, whoops. But so now I do the almond milk there. I would recommend the almond milk, and then but also I get a cold brew with just a little bit of milk, so it's not like it's a whole like latte with mostly milk and a little coffee. I would do a cold brew or iced coffee. And then I always do the sugar-free sweeteners like sugar-free vanilla or sugar-free cinnamon dulce because they only have 1 gram carbs, 0 calories per pump. That's my Starbucks hacks.
what do you think your biggest accomplishment was over the last 3 months?
I went in to get a body scan in a local store near me, and I saw that I went down 3% in body fat percentage, which was huge for me. And I was already at like a decent, body fat percentage. Like where I was at was not terrible in any regards, but I still wanted to make some sort of progress, and that was huge progress for me seeing that. And I built um, and I changed up a little bit of like what I was doing, like lifting and in the gym and stuff. And I was able to gain 1 pound of lean muscle mass, which supposedly is huge. I didn't really know, but that's huge
Yes.
supposedly. Uh, and I think just my physique, like I'm happy with like what I see in the mirror, and like not that I wasn't before, but I kind of have a mindset of always wanting to, be better than I am currently, and that's something I'm working on. But I am really happy with, where I'm at, and so I think accepting that is another huge, success for me.
One more question. What would you say to someone who is not really happy with how they're looking? They think they're doing everything right, they're nervous.
I would say just do it because I was so hesitant. I remember questioning whether I should do it for about 2 weeks, and I was like, I don't really need to do it. I'm eating healthy, but I was like, but look, like this is going to be an experience. I'm going to learn from it. Like let me just try it. Like just do it, just
Mhm.
try it, because if you don't, you really, and I thought I knew everything about food. I really didn't. Like it's crazy to think that 3-4 months ago I thought my protein sources were broccoli, avocado, and whatever that was. Like that was crazy for me. And so um I think it's smart to educate yourself with just tracking and knowing how much is in everything, and just staying on top of it. And I think being able to track something like that, yeah, like I wouldn't like try and restrict yourself too much, and just try to see what works within your lifestyle. I would say just go for it.